In 1901, Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." Back then, the stick was made of wood and the power came from gunpowder and cavalry. But now, the year is 2025. The threats are digital, the enemies are global, and the border has become a war zone. Can the tactics of the 19th century survive in the age of cyber warfare? Today, we find out. The new administration is done writing angry letters. Teddy Roosevelt is upgrading the big stick. And he's heading south. The southern border in 2025 is no longer just a line on a map. It is a scar. Drone footage shows fortified compounds controlled by cartels that possess better technology than most small nations. They use subterranean tunnels equipped with AI surveillance and drones that drop payloads on Border Patrol agents. The lawlessness is absolute. For years, politicians in D.C. treated this as a logistical issue. They sent paperwork, they sent committees, but sitting in the Situation Room, watching the live feeds, Teddy Roosevelt sees it for what it truly is, an invasion. The man who once charged up San Juan Hill doesn't believe in containing the problem. He believes in ending it. To understand what happens next, we have to look back. Before he was president, Teddy was the police commissioner of New York City. He didn't sit behind a desk. He walked the slums at 2 a.m. hunting for corrupt officers and criminals himself. He looked the darkness in the eye. In 2025, he brings that same beat cop mentality to the border. He rejects the reports from his generals. "I don't want spreadsheets. I want boots on the ground." But this time, he isn't walking alone in a coat. He is deploying the Rough Riders of the 21st century, an elite unit of veterans and robotics, designed not just to defend, but to push back. This brings up a fascinating question. Do you think modern leaders lack the hands-on experience that men like Teddy had? Does a leader need to see the front lines to understand the war? Tell me yes or no in the comments. The mobilization is swift. Roosevelt revives the spirit of the cavalry, but the horses are gone. They are replaced by all-terrain autonomous vehicles and iron mule robotics, quadrupedal machines built for rough terrain, mounted with non-lethal sonic cannons and heavy suppression gear. He stands before his new troops. He tells them, aggressive fighting for the right is the noblest sport the world affords. The strategy is simple. Total dominance. He shuts down the electronic signals across the sector. No phones, no cartel drones. He plunges the enemy into a digital blackout, forcing them to fight on his terms, face-to-face, grit against grit. I want to thank you for sticking with the story. If you're enjoying this mix of history and future warfare, hit that like button. Now, watch what happens when the lights go out. The operation begins at midnight. Under the cover of a sandstorm, the Iron Cavalry advances. The cartels, blinded by the signal blackout, are panicked. They're used to fighting a passive government. They are not ready for a Roosevelt offensive. Teddy leads from the front command vehicle. The engagement is surgical. The sonic cannons shatter the cartel's defenses without firing a single bullet. The iron mules breach the tunnels. It's a shock-and-awe campaign reminiscent of the Great White Fleet, but condensed into a single night. By sunrise, the fortified compounds are dismantled. The traffickers are zip-tied in lines stretching for miles. The message is clear. The border is closed to chaos. The morning sun reveals a changed landscape. The border is silent. The drones are grounded. Roosevelt stands at the edge of the Rio Grande, looking across. He didn't invade a foreign nation. He simply made the line inviolable. Critics scream about excessive force, but the citizens in the border towns who lived in fear for decades are finally opening their windows. Teddy addresses the press corps in a dusty field jacket. He holds up a modern carbon fiber baton, his new stick. He smiles his famous toothy grin and says, "Justice consists not in being neutral between right and wrong, but in finding the right and upholding it." In 24 hours, the crisis that lasted decades was solved not by a new law, but by an old attitude. Teddy Roosevelt proved that technology is just a tool. It is the will of the man holding it that matters. But now that the border is secure, the monopolies and big tech corporations are getting nervous. They know they are next on his list. What should Teddy target in episode 3? Big Pharma? The media? Let us know below. Subscribe to join the movement. The Bull Moose is just getting started.